So you've been asking about what do you do about foods that you love and really don't want to give up, that are comfort foods, or things like bread and like how do you find healthy versions of some of our favorites. So let's talk about it. First off, let's think about what some of those foods are. They could be snack options, they could be desserts, could be macaroni and cheese, could be all sorts of things. When you hear that list of foods, they're yummy, they're flavorful, they're full of salts, they're full of fats, they're full of sugars, things that are very hyper palatable. So it is very exciting to our mouths and to think, and then it of course excites our brains and turns on all of those chemically induced light bulbs that make us go, oh yes, yum, I want more, I can't get enough of them. They're so good, and it is hard to stop eating. So when you think about foods and the kind of reactions that those produce, what's the consequence of that? Overeating high calorie foods. And then what does that produce? Being overweight and having health issues due to the different chemicals and the fats and such that are inside those foods. And that's kind of our problem, isn't it? It's kind of the stuff that we want to avoid. So when we're trying to figure out, well, how do I have a healthy version of pancakes with syrup and oh man, I'm just frustrated because it just doesn't taste the same. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not going to, because those hyper-palatable, highly processed foods aren't food, and it's not what we should be eating. It's what put us in this problem in the first place, right? Right. So, yes, it is going to be a little uncomfortable because we have to retrain ourselves. We have to retrain our bodies, and we have to retrain our taste buds. So, with that, yeah, some of making those changes is gonna suck because those foods, or those, I'm gonna air quote it, because they're not really foods, they're made by science, right? It's all scientifically programmed to try to figure out how they can create the most palatable foods that will make us want to consume more and more and more, with no thought to our greater health. Because they just want to sell those products. Anyway, back off of the soapbox and back on to talking about health. So we have to find new foods. We have to rediscover what food truly is. When you go to the grocery store, when I go to the grocery store and I see the produce aisle, I get really excited. And that may not be you. And that wasn't me before. I thought, oh, vegetables. There's all these green things. I don't know how to cook that. I don't even know what that is. What is bok choy anyway? So maybe that's what chickens say in China. Bok choy. Anyway. So, but now, when I see the produce section, I flip out with joy, because when you think about it, have we ever lived in a time when we've had such access to an array of foods like this all year round? No, we would have had to eat food that was available within our region that was seasonal, right? Which is still actually a very good way to, a good cue for foods to eat during the time of year. You want to eat foods that are in season in the area that you live, because it means that it's going to be fresh and it's going to be within our bodies. Actually work better when we do it seasonally. And this is the only time we've ever had access to all of these different foods and be able to eat them with such variety all year long. So, interesting. So we have to retrain our taste buds and our idea of what food is. And it can be uncomfortable. But when you think about why are you doing it? Why would you want to do that? Why not just go ahead and just keep eating the crap food that we've always been eating? The chicken nuggets, which might possibly have some chicken in them, all the different dairy products that can possibly be created. Why cut those out of your diet? all the processed food, because we realize how damaging they are to us. And look at where you are and think, do I want to stay there? No, if you didn't want to, you wouldn't be right here, would you? You want to make a change. You're squeaking. You want to have a healthier body and a healthier life. So with that, with a drastic change like that, drastic measures are taken. You're going to have to make some big changes. But it's not scary. It may be scary, but you know what? Jump into that fear. Jump into that discomfort, because you know that you are walking towards health. It is a very good thing, and you are not alone. And that is what our group here is about creating community as we make these big changes as we walk towards health. So, yeah, you may not be able to have I'm sorry, but macaroni and cheese is going to be macaroni and cheese, and you will not be able to find a direct matchable substitute. You won't, because it's a made-up food. It is. It's not a real food. So you got to find something different. For me, I love when I cook my pinto beans. They cook up so creamy, and when you mash them up a bit, oh, it's like a creamy sauce. And with that to me can recreate in a way the cheesiness of macaroni and cheese. So those delicious creamy pinto beans with rice and with other delicious vegetables and all mixed together, that's my new macaroni and cheese. And it is amazing. And I love, occasionally I will have a bite of, our kids still sometimes have macaroni and cheese. And it's from the box. It's what we grew up on, right? We think of that as comfort food, as, oh, it's a taste of home. Or maybe yours is with the Velveeta, the plastic cheese, if you will. But I'll have a bite, and I'll think, oh my gosh, I'm going to indulge. I'm going to have a bite of macaroni and cheese, and I do, and I go, really? Really? This is what I think I'm missing? I'm not missing anything. So that's what happens when we allow our taste buds to come to reset, so we can really taste true, real food again. And that's what happens when we let the processed crap go by the wayside. And a quick tip, we'll talk a little bit about bread. A friend asked, so what do you guys do for bread? Well, there are lots of ways. If you still want to have bread, there's a whole variety of things. In whole food plant-based, you want to get as close to unprocessed as possible. The Ezekiel bread is, from what I've heard, is really fantastic. And oftentimes you'll find them in your frozen or refrigerated sections at your grocery store. That's one of the things that we kind of compromise on a little bit. We have as close to 100% whole wheat as possible with limited ingredients in the back. And that's what we have. Our kids have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I like having peanut butter toast in the mornings occasionally. So I'm not 100% pure on everything. I am not a Nazi about it. But again, getting as close as you can to where you want to be. And you are in charge of making up what rules work for you. All right? What we're trying to do is get as close to a whole food plant-based diet as possible. So for greater health. And if it's for weight loss, that will just be a part of it. As you transition, as you crowd out the crap food and you bring in all the healthy food, then it's just going to be a natural byproduct of doing so, of changing the way that you eat. And there's a reason that we call it a lifestyle, the whole food plant-based lifestyle, not a whole food plant-based diet. Dieting is meant, we think of that term as short term. That word is short term. So it's something that you do, oh, I just want to get off a couple pounds, and then I'm going to go back to the way I was eating before. You certainly, you're totally the boss of yourself. You could do that, but you're going to find true results for overall health and for weight management by making this your lifestyle. Now, in my newsletter, I talk a little bit about how, if you decide to do whole food plant-based with, no processed foods, highly processed foods, maybe 3 days a week, and then the rest of the days you're eating what you normally would eat, you are not going to see, the results that you want in health, because that's not it will change some, but you won't see as big, as wonderful of results. And then secondly, you're not, the whole food plant-based things that you're going to create aren't going to be quite as flavorful, because you're still bombarding your taste buds with the highly processed foods. So you're not even giving yourself a chance. So I challenge you to try 1 week, maybe even 2, where you decide, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go whole food plant-based for this week. Write out your menu so that you don't freak out about, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner. Write out your menu. Go shopping. I'm going to be sending some sample ideas for days so that you can create some menus and get some ideas. But I just give it a whirl, and you will notice after a couple days of eating this way, you're going to start, your taste buds are going to remember what food is supposed to taste like again. It's going to give them a break. Now, usually from the reading that I've done, it actually takes, to really reprogram your taste buds, it's going to take longer than 1 week to fully do it. But you will notice a change in that short amount of time. And if you decide to go all the way whole food plant-based, or to make that a larger part of your weekly menu planning, then you will notice faster that, golly, oh my gosh, I had no idea that carrots taste like this. Cucumbers, I cannot believe how much flavor and aroma are in those, and they, oh my gosh. I take a bite of a banana, and oftentimes it tastes like a donut. I don't know how it works, but it's amazing, and I am happy to be in the place where something as simple and as easily accessible and as cheap as a banana can bring me so much delectable joy. So, and the same will go for you.